Radio Studios in Ballackinwood, Pennsylvania on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend here in the Delaware Valley. And I'm being joined, I don't know what the weather is like down there in Atlanta, but Phillies broadcaster Greg Murphy joining us once again, my co-host, my co-pilot. What's up, Murph? How we doing this morning?
I am doing great. Riding 2 straight wins here in Atlanta. The weather here has been absolutely perfect. You know, they get a lot of rain that comes through that ballpark a lot of times in the summer. We have had, knock on wood, the 4th day today. Just absolutely perfect. 75 and sunny each day we've been here. So it's been great. It's been a pretty good start to this long NL East road trip. So I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see if we can get one tonight.
Yeah, let's see if we can get one tonight. And, on top of that, too, you get to enjoy another holiday off on the Phillies dime as you'll be hanging out in New York City getting ready for Phillies Mets tomorrow. Are you guys flying out after tonight's game, or are you guys flying out tomorrow morning to head up to New York?
Yeah, no, we'll fly out after tonight's game. We won't get into New York until probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So, sleep in tomorrow, but hopefully get up by 11 and don't want to waste my off day. Got a chance to explore the city and going to do that. Going to have a nice dinner somewhere. It's odd not to be playing on Memorial Day, but hey, if they're gonna hand us that off day, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Ride the wave, Murph. Right. Ride the wave. Hey, this first segment is brought to you by our friends over at State Farm. When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect furniture or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night TV series binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Dave Avuso is here to help you select the right protection at the right price. Dave will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. With State Farm agent Dave Avuso, it's easy to make the right choice. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You can reach him at 856-740-5012. That's 856-740-5012. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. I would be remiss not to congratulate my brother Kevin and my sister-in-law Rachel, who welcomed my new beautiful niece McKenna Ray to the world this past Tuesday morning at 12:34 in the morning, after pretty much a hellacious 48 hours of being in labor, being induced on Sunday evening. Finally, she decided to make her way into the world, and we got to go see her at the hospital on Thursday night. Beautiful, beautiful little girl. And so thrilled and so happy. My brother is going to be a fantastic father, and looking forward to seeing them. Actually, was it Tuesday? What was the 24th? The 24th was I'm trying to think here.
Maybe it was Wednesday what day of the week it was.
Maybe I think it was Wednesday morning, early Wednesday morning, 12:34 a.m. But hey, when you're talking about that early in the morning, Murph, I mean, Jacob was 2:24 in the morning. Carson was 11:50 in the morning. I think my niece Juliana was somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Us sack babies, or the grandbabies in our family, they tend to like to come earlier in the day than coming later in the day.
Yeah. Well, let me offer my congratulations as well. Way to go. That's great.
Awesome. Yep, absolutely. But hey, let's go ahead and let's give out some tickets here. I decided to change it up this week. I'm looking at my season ticket plan, Murph, because that's where I've been getting most of our tickets for the giveaways this season. Mm-hmm. And my next couple games on the schedule are the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. Yeah, I'm not giving those tickets away to anybody.
There you go.
I want the NL East matchups for myself. Call me selfish, call me what you will. Those tickets will stay in my possession for those two series for sure, especially the Saturday game against the Mets. I'm not missing that one. Even though pretty much where I sit, you're going to be dealing with a lot of schmucks coming, down the Jersey Turnpike from Queens. But I will handle those tickets, and I will handle them myself. To bring on the Doug Heffernans from Queens.
Doug Heffernan.
It's funny. Like we our old season ticket group out in section 143 in left field. We had these Mets fans that were sitting right in front of us one game, and the big, obnoxious, loudmouth, Met fans, nothing that I can't handle. And but we were having some fun with them, and it's like the second or third inning, and they're really obnoxious. And the one guy is built kind of like Doug Heffernan and King of Queens, and my pal Andrew in the back of the section yells out, "Hey, Heffernan, sit down!"
That's great.
So he got kicked out in like the 7th or 8th inning, but good luck to but hey, we're gonna give away 2 tickets for Phillies Tigers on Tuesday, June 6th at 6:40 p.m. Make sure you guys go to our social media outlets, the Green Legion Radio YouTube channel, the Green Legion Facebook page, or our Twitter handle at Green Legion. Our collective favorite answer will win at the beginning of our final segment. Murph, we're going to do something fun today. Your favorite action movie in honor of it being Memorial Day weekend. It's a holiday weekend. It's blockbuster season now in the box offices for movies and cinema. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Our favorite action movie, go.
I didn't know it was blockbuster season, so I'm really happy to know that I have my blockbuster card still, so I can take advantage of blockbuster season.
Yeah, but I think you can only use that somewhere out in the Midwest. There's only one left open in the whole entire world.
Yeah,
other than that, you got to get Netflix on one of the other streaming systems.
Yeah, one of these days I'll upgrade. So I have my list of 5, but I will give you one right now. And how about if I give you action movies? You can kind of go all over the place with these. I'm going to give you. I would say this is an action movie. Ocean's 11. Great movie.
Great movie.
Constantly, moving and, nothing's blowing up and that kind of thing. Or at least not a whole lot of things. But still, I consider that a kind of an action movie for the mind. And so I'm putting Ocean's 11 on my list. I do have a couple of on my list that stuff actually does blow up and that kind of thing. But we'll start with Ocean's 11 and I'll give you the rest later.
Now, the reason why I had this idea for action movie, and this is not the one that I'm going to name, but I'm sitting there. Sometimes things just hit you. I kind of want to know. I obviously change things up throughout the course of the season as we do multiple shows. I mean, what are we 20, 25, 30 shows is what we do during the course of the season. So you always want to do something different. Jurassic Park, I was watching last night, and I'll tell you what. You know what gets me every single time, and I love it every time I say it, is the T-Rex scene. Where's the goat? And the goat leg winds up on the top of the car, and but I'm watching Jurassic Park, and that's where I got the idea for this. But I'll tell you what, the action movie that I could watch over and over and over and over again, Terminator 2. Just the overall scenes that happen throughout the course of that movie. Dude, it's incredible. I mean, the motorcycle and the tractor trailer.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that. I saw the first one. I'm not, me, I'm not a big action, that kind of action movie guy. Right. I do believe I saw the first Terminator, but I'm fairly certain I didn't see the second.
Yeah, the second one, I like the first one, but the second one blows the first one away, in my opinion. Just the one-liners, the overall dynamic, the action scenes. Him sitting there with a grenade launcher, and he's blowing everything up outside, and he hits the one guy in the chest with with a gas bomb, and then he takes the gas mask off, and he hands him the launcher, and he goes, "Stick around." It's just prototypical Arnold, 90s stuff. It's great classic stuff. So make sure you guys, your favorite action movie of all time. Murph will give us his top 5 at the beginning of the final segment. Murph, let's get out of the box now. Let's talk about this Phillies team. All right, they've gained some ground over the course of the last week. It didn't start out pretty. It didn't look pretty after Thursday night. With blowing an opportunity there in Atlanta, but I would be remiss to say that the Phillies are 4-3 over the last week since our last show. They now sit 6 games behind the Braves and are a game and a half behind the Mets and the Marlins, who are tied for second place. But let's not just start there. Let's start with the most recent. The start yesterday by Zach Wheeler was the preeminent dominant start by Philly starting pitchers so far this season. 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts, and exactly what this Philly staff needed heading into pretty much, it may be a bullpen game. I think Dylan Covey might give you 4 or 5, possibly 6 tonight.
But that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great for sure. I mean, he did throw over 90 pitches in his last effort when he came in relief of Matt Strahm the other day against the Diamondbacks, but it would be fantastic if we could get a little bit more out of him. But Zach Wheeler and his effort yesterday to really save the bullpen for today, heading into an off day for tomorrow, you can't say enough about what Zach Wheeler did for the Phillies with taking that game and putting him in a position to take 3 or 4 in Atlanta.
Yeah, for so many reasons, it was such a huge start. But I think first and foremost, just being able to see the Zach Wheeler that we've become accustomed to here in Philadelphia, It was awesome. We joked on the show last night that he gets to sleep in his own bed when we come to Atlanta. He's from right around the corner from Truist Park. And so when we arrive in Atlanta, he gets picked up and heads home to be with his family, which is awesome. And then I guess little home
Is his
cooking.
mom picking him up? Or
Yeah, I don't know who picked him up, but could have been mom, could have been his wife. I'm not
Zachy.
sure. Yeah. But regardless, obviously he likes pitching here. He likes pitching against the Braves and in front of family and friends. But early on in yesterday's game, I think it could have been the first inning. It might have been the second. Kevin Stocker said something I thought was really interesting on the radio, in that he said, as he was watching Zach, he had talked to him earlier in the day, and he said what went wrong in his last start was when he was trying to get that out pitch and trying to strike someone out, fastball top of the zone. He was still hitting the strike zone, at the top of the box, if you will. And guys were major league hitters are going to hit that pitch a lot of times. What he was able to do yesterday was get that fastball and get it up a little bit out of the zone, and guys were swinging through it, swinging and missing. And I think that was a big difference. His fastball command yesterday, especially up in the zone, was so impressive to see. And, he just went about his business. We've seen him do it before, but it has been a little bit, right? And, gosh, it was certainly good to see. And to your point, Zach, being able to do that before a game like today, where you probably are going to have to rely on your bullpen a little bit more, it was just huge. And hopefully they can build on that. Worst case scenario, they're going to split here in Atlanta, but there's no reason to believe they can't win tonight's game. They just need to get, a solid outing from Kobe, and they need to get the bats going. And Strider's really good, but he hasn't been the incredibly dominant pitcher that we saw early last year, right? I mean, he's going to be good, and he's going to strike out double digits more than likely, and that's just the way he is. But if you can get his pitch count up a little bit, I think there's a chance they can put some runs on the board, and the Braves bullpen has been dreadful. So if you can get him out of the game, that would be ideal. Braves have lost, I want to say, 9 of their last 13 games. They're not exactly hitting on all cylinders right now. So seeing this team at a good time.
Yeah, I have not been impressed these last few nights with the Braves middle relief, and even in towards the back end of their bullpen. For a team. Listen, say what you will about the Braves. And I know a lot of people have been frustrated with the Phillies in the early going. And listen, I know I've been on my social media platforms, especially on Facebook. I tend to live on the light side of things and have a little bit of fun with how I act and overreact, if you want to think that I'm overreacting towards how the Phillies are playing. But sometimes I try to do that reverse psychology thing where I try to get the Phillies to turn it around, even though I'm acting that way and I'm talking that way. But I'll tell you what, this Braves team, like, if you look at them, yes, they can hit. They can hit, but
yes, they can.
But Matt Olson is batting around 230. So he has not been dominant yet. He's hitting home runs, but he has not been dominant. In where they need him at in the 2-hole in that lineup. Marcell Ozuna has been hot and cold. More so cold before the Phillies have arrived over the last few days. And if you look towards the back end of that lineup, I know we talked about this last year on our show, Murph. I was really surprised to see what they did in the middle of the season by giving players like Michael Harris and Spencer Strider those huge contract extensions in the early portion of their careers with not seeing longevity. I mean, it's okay if you want to do that, but I just don't understand. Like, I prefer, if I'm a general manager, get them on the cheap for the first few years at $500,000 or now $750,000, I think is the minimum. I'll take that. But to kind of keep them on the cheap, let them prove it for 2 or 3 years, and then give them those deals. I'll tell you what, Michael Harris isn't performing that well, but Vaughn Grissom isn't playing shortstop. They have Arcia playing over there. The back end of that lineup isn't even performing for the Braves. And this stat right here is. I know I think I said this probably during the playoffs last year, but this is courtesy of Corey Seidman of NBC Sports Philadelphia, and I'm updating this to reflect his tweet from before yesterday's game. The Phillies are now 39-38 against the Braves over their last 77 matchups, dating back to the final series of 2018 and including last year's NLDS matchup. The Phillies play the Braves better than anybody else in Major League Baseball over the last 5 years, and it's not even close.
That's, it's funny, and I saw that from Corey as well. But I find that hard to believe. I mean, I know it's true, but I find it hard to believe because it doesn't feel that way. For a guy that's seen every one of those games, it certainly doesn't feel that way to me. I feel as though the Braves have had our number over the last 5, 6, 7 years, but the numbers are what they are. And like I said, we're catching these guys at a good time. I mentioned, so they had, coming into last night's game, they had lost 9 of their last 15. So now 10 of their last 16 games they've lost. So 6-10 in their last 16. And a big part of that, circling back, is that bullpen, a 5.21 ERA. It ranks 25th in all of baseball right now. So Spencer Strider, as good as he is, I have to believe, and we'll talk to Rob Thompson about this before the game, I got to believe the game plan tonight is to see as many pitches as you can early in this game. Even if it results in an out at the end of the at-bat, if you could see 5 or 6 or 7 pitches, through the first couple innings each batter and get that pitch count up there and get into that bullpen, I mean, I think that has to be the thought process with the Phils.
Yeah, battle them out, foul pitches off, kind of do what other teams were doing with Zach Wheeler early on in the season. Just foul off a bunch of pitches, get his pitch count up, try and get him out of there through 5, 6 innings. That's the game plan tonight for Spencer Strider, for sure. But hey, we would be remiss also to say to overlook a piece of Major League Baseball history that has occurred here over the last couple days in Atlanta. Funny, it's happened in Atlanta because 186 of those 401 saves now had happened in an Atlanta Braves uniform. But Craig Kimbrell became the 8th pitcher ever to record their 400th career save. Again, he tacked on number 401 last night for good measure. Do we believe that he is going to be the last one ever to accomplish this, Murph? Because Edwin Diaz sits at 205 at the age of 29, obviously this year being injured and missing probably about another 40 to 50 save opportunities. Probably doesn't help him out in the long run. But if you look at this list, I mean, overall all-time saves leaders, the guys that are even like that, there aren't a lot that are even close. I think Aroldis Chapman is the next active. The closest. Yeah, but I just don't think. I think he might be running out of time and running out of gas. But you look at everybody else. I mean, 8 guys over the course of Major League Baseball history, and I kind of heard this the last couple of days. Is this something that we may never see again? Is another guy reach 400 saves in a Major League Baseball uniform as a closer?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, who knows what happens 25 years from now, but certainly not anytime in the next decade or decade and a half. I wouldn't think. To your point, Aroldis Chapman is the closest. I want to say he has 307 or 319. He's in the early threes, and in the last
317.
317. And in the last 2 seasons, he's only had about 6 or 7 saves combined. So, it's hard to see a path for that. He's 39. It's hard to see a path for him. Maybe, some of the youngsters that are close, they're in the 200s. But man, it's an amazing accomplishment. It's only happened 8 times in Major League Baseball history. So you have to just kind of tip your cap. And we had Craig on after he got number 400, and Kevin Stocker asked him a great question about, could he just thank the folks that helped him get there? And he got very emotional in thanking, obviously, his family and the guys that he's suited up with. And he's a thoughtful guy. He's a guy that is humble, despite all of his accomplishments. He's a humble guy. And it was a really cool moment. And we kind of all put it in perspective after the game. Kev and Scott, myself, T-Mac, driving home, Ben Davis, and saying, you know what? It probably won't ever happen again. And we were there to see it. And that's the kind of thing that when you're going through the grind of the 162 and, things aren't going well. And those are the kinds of moments that make us so appreciative of having the seat that we do and getting a chance to watch great players do great things and kind of solidify themselves in the annals of baseball. 20 years from now, I'll be able to say, yeah, I was at Kimbrell's 400th save, and it's neat. It's a cool thing to be able to be a part of, small part of.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys on Friday night. I absolutely loved the Craig talking about his influences, and it's I lost my last 2 grandparents back at the end of 2016 and beginning of 2017. So I know what he's talking about when he says like his grandparents and, like 3 of them are gone. And I absolutely loved him. Like Stock did such a great job with that. But, you alluded to this with the drive home from the ballpark. And I texted you this on Friday night. So is T-Mac driving you guys all to the ballpark in a minivan? Because that's the visual that I had of him driving everybody to the ballpark. We heard the story about how like you got left off the elevator by Ben Davis. But what a selfish act that is. If I was there, Murph, I would have made sure that you got on the elevator. But Ben Davis is your everyday teammate, and you only have to deal with me on Sundays.
It's funny. It couldn't have happened on a better day because we were doing the Friday night roundtable, so we got a lot of mileage out of that story, and we tend maybe to exaggerate just a hair here and there to bring the story home, but
makes for great radio.
Yes, to answer your question, no, it's not a minivan. We are way cooler than that. We have a GMC something SUV that we're rolling in. There's a couple cities where it just is easier for us to get a car. We don't get a car in every city, but here in Atlanta, the drive and the way it all works, it's helpful to have a car. So T-Mac's always our driver. He's always one that gets a car.
He's dad.
Ben likes to say he gets us there swiftly and safely. I always say, well, yeah, swiftly for sure. Every once in a while, I have to use my own brake in the back seat, but so far so good. Knock on wood. Tom's gotten us there. So.
Hey, make sure you guys don't hang out alone in the man cave for baseball this season. Try hanging out at Cheerleaders with sexy entertainers, $4 domestic beers, Jameson specials, and awesome game day experiences all season long. That's right. Stop in before, during, or after the game, not only to see your favorite entertainers, but also your chance to have the best game day experience possible. Cheerleaders is open daily from noon until 2 a.m. Go and check them out today or tomorrow or any other day. Just make sure you guys go check them out for sure. Coming up in our second segment, we're going to have an injury update. We have a few Phillies that are going to start rehab assignments this week, as well as an update on Jose Alvarado and his status. And we're bringing back an old friend of the program from the last few years as we tap into guests that are going to attend Murph's Memorial Day Barbecue right here on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. This is Bud Light Baseball Brunch presented to you by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club. We'll be right back after this.
Good stuff. All right, I'm gonna get my water. Hold on.
Ugh. Go for it. And then we got more. Sometimes putting it out in the socials too.
Let's get 20% off pillows and sheets too. Let your sleep even more with 2% off essentials site-wide. That will complete your bedroom. Don't snooze through these limited time savings. Shop Casper's Memorial Day sale today by visiting casper.com/stores to find a store near you.
It's cold too.
A little chilly.
Yeah, my room is freezing. That's by design.
No, dude, it's got to be cold in the hotel room.
Yeah, absolutely. A warm hotel room is
no. You already feel clammy enough sleeping in a bed that other people sleep in.
Yeah.
It's just I need to have that extra snugness.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree.
I just got the wife to write off on I'm going to Target Field in August.
We're playing there?
No, it's just going to be ballpark 21. I'm going to get to do this year.
Okay. Great ballpark. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Hopefully you stay near the ballpark because there's a lot to do right there.
Yeah, I mean, me and Chad are going to do what me and Rach did with St. Louis. We're going to fly in that Friday morning. We're going to see a ball game that night, hang out and do some stuff in the city. And then I think our flight leaves Saturday at like 12:30. So we'll be back around like 4:00 Saturday night.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely stay near the ballpark if you can. There's all kinds of, courtyards and Hampton Inns and all that. So
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really like that ballpark.
Yeah. I've heard that. So it's kind of like the last outlier stadium. Like, like there's nothing you can really piggyback off of it with. So
Do we go there this year, or did they come
No.
down? They come down.
I was looking, but the Twins come here.
So next year we'll go out there. We haven't been there in a long time. Can't remember the last time. Well, maybe they went there in 21 when I wasn't traveling. I'd have to look, but don't know.
It's all gravy. I'll do another one or two next year when the Phillies are there. Maybe the West Coast.
Have you been to Dodger Stadium?
I have.
Yeah, you've been there, but you haven't. Where haven't you been out there?
San Fran, San Diego, Angels, Seattle, Arizona. And then I have Kansas City, Texas, Houston, and Toronto. Those are the last ones.
Okay.
Toronto, I would do this year, but that's tough. You guys are there on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and I have to renew my passport.
Yeah, I mean it's an easy trip, but yeah, it's an easy trip except for the passport stuff. And
yeah,
but I think it's like an hour flight.
8-hour car ride.
Yeah, it's about right.
15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, welcome back. Second segment here, Bud Light Baseball Brunch. We're also presented to you by our friends. Now, this is perfect timing. The Ludlam Hotel in Sea Isle City. Yes, the old La Costa. Go check them out at 4000 Landis Avenue in Sea Isle City. Hoping to do another remote show down there this summer. Great times. Try the La Costa lemonade. It is to die for. The menu is seasonal, offering the freshest local seafood, cooked simple to ensure the flavor that already exists stays that way. The hotel is open year-round, and all guests enjoy free Wi-Fi, one free parking spot per room, and complimentary beach tags for all registered adults. Walking distance to everything. Check them out at ludlamhotel.com. That's Ludlam, Ludlam, hotel.com. Or call them at 609-263-7829. That's 609-263-7829. For all your reservation, dining, or entertainment questions, the Ludlam Hotel, your new oasis in Sea Isle City.
Yeah, and hey, so let me say this real quick. I was down in Sea Isle.
Hold on, you were muted there, so you can. Great job, Slash.
Yeah.
Slash is on a holiday weekend right now.
Yeah, hey, come on, Kyle. I had things to say here. What I was going to say is a buddy of mine just bought a house around the corner from the Ludlam.
Nice.
And, I went down to visit him and see his new house, and I told him, I said, "Look, next time I come down, there's a great little pool bar right there at the Ludlam Hotel. We're gonna hit that up." So they got themselves a new customer. He'll be a good customer. So.
Absolutely. Sure. All right, Murph. So let's go ahead. Let's round out our Phillies talk here real fast. Jose Alvarado was supposed to throw a bullpen session before yesterday's game, but instead just threw on the side. Phillies manager Rob Thompson said that it wasn't a setback. Are we still trending in the right direction from your belief here?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I believe they're still trending in the right direction. It was a little bit of okay, he didn't throw that bullpen. But Rob was pretty clear yesterday when he talked about it. He said, I'm not worried about it. He said he came in a little bit stiff. He had hit 97 in the bullpen previously in his first bullpen. And you know what? He, maybe just went out a little strong in that first bullpen session. The good news was that he did go out and play catch yesterday. So, they wouldn't have had him play catch if there was any concern that he had taken a step back. So I think the fact that he was out there on the field and just lightly tossing, trying to loosen things up was a good sign. So we'll see. Again, we'll probably get an update on that today when we get over to the ballpark, but they're not going to rush Jose Alvarado, and knock on wood, the bullpen has been really good even without him in it. So get him healthy and have him come back for the, July, August, September kind of thing, doing his thing. And, that's like a trade deadline pickup that would be outstanding. So it'll be some time before we see Jose again, but he just needs to keep moving, as you said, in the right direction.
Derek Hall and Christian Pache are supposed to start minor league rehab assignments this week. I think, Christian Pache is probably closer to coming back to the team sooner than Derek Hall because of the way Cody Clemens has been playing. Rob Thompson did say the other day that Derek Hall is going to have to earn his way back onto the roster. I don't think it was a negative context, but Cody Clemens appears every single time he starts. It feels like he's right in the middle of something. He scored the game-winning run yesterday, and prior to yesterday's game, when he has started in 11 of 28 games at first base, he was hitting .316 with 4 homers, 2 doubles, and 10 RBI. But between the two of them, I mean, where's Derek Hall going to be starting out, and where's Christian Pache going to be starting out this week with their minor league rehab assignments?
Yeah, they're both going to be down in Clearwater to begin their rehab assignments, and I believe it's Hall on Tuesday. He'll get started. Pache on Wednesday will get started. And yeah, I agree with your assessment. I think that Pache, as long as he proves that he's healthy and swinging a good bat, has a clearer path back to the big leagues than Derek does at this point. And it is because Cody Clemens has come in and done a really good job. And that's what you want, right? I mean, and Derek Hall, I'm sure, heard Rob Thompson's thoughts, and Derek Hall probably said to himself, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit my way right back. And that's what you want as well, right? The competition is never a bad thing. But yeah, tip your cap to Cody Clemens because he's gotten this opportunity and he's really kind of taken advantage of it. The guy can flat out hit. I mean, he was a really good hitter in college, hit for power in college, hit for average in college. And I think he's been pretty impressive over there at first base as well, for the most part. And so it's been good to see. And the more guys that are fighting to be on this roster and deserving a chance to be on this roster, the better.
Just real quick before we dive into the Memorial Day barbecue at Murph's house, Trey Turner, a couple big hits this week. We had the 2-run shot with 2 outs to tie the game on Wednesday to avoid the sweep against the Diamondbacks, which set the stage for Alec Boehm's walk-off in the 10th inning. And then we had yesterday, which turned out to be the game-winning hit and game-winning RBI with his double and having a 2-hit game. Signs that he's beginning to turn around a little bit here over the last few days. And just real quick, I did love the segment with T-Mac and Ben Davis after the game. He loves those boys in the daycare, right?
Yeah, well, not if you listen to him. So if you were listening to the radio after the game, we got Trey right after the TV guys did, and he was doing the interview on radio, and here comes Brandon Marsh again, and you would. I thought they were gonna swing. I mean, it's all in good fun. But
we need the dump button.
I hate these guys. And he's biting his lip, knowing that he's on the live radio and not able to say what he wants to say. But it was funny on television, funny on the radio as well. But you know what I would say, Sack? I thought the play, the ground ball that he hit third yesterday was easily the hardest hit ball that he hit. Ended up in a 5-3 put out because of a great play at third. But I think, we're seeing signs. I think he struck out 2 times in his last, 15 at bats. He's only struck out once since he told everybody that his mom booed him in that one particular strikeout. So, I think we're starting to see him turn the corner. Anyone that pays attention to this game shouldn't be surprised that he's starting to come out of it. And when he does, look out because he's going to have a 3-week period where he's going to be, unstoppable to get those numbers back to where we're used to. And he's the kind of guy that can carry a team for a little bit. So that'll be fun to watch.
No doubt. Can't wait for that. All right. I also can't wait to do this every year. We've done this every year on the show. We've done this segment for those of you that are new to the show or for old friends of the program. Every year, Murph is so generous to have some of the most polarizing players and people in Major League Baseball over to his house for a Memorial Day barbecue. And this year he can have them there because he's off tomorrow. So
we're going to have to come to New York. So.
No, we're still inviting them over your house.
Okay.
So Murph normally gets to dictate who comes in based off of what they have and the baggage that they bring with them. So listen, it's so hard because the last couple years I've really done, I think the first year was polarizing Phillies. Last year was polarizing Major League Baseball players. So I did a kind of mixed bag this year. Right. So we'll see. I got a couple layups for you at the very beginning. So let's start off with a couple Phillies that you'll be so generous to let them in. Obviously, you can't have a party at the house without Pat Burrell, and Pat Burrell's got to bring the ladies with him.
Yeah, Pat can absolutely come. Well, what's a party without Pat Burrell? You know what? Hopefully he comes early and stays late. He's a guy that is a lot of fun to be around. And so, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Pat's on the invite list.
Especially because he's bringing the girls with him.
Well,
and I know you're taking
you know.
men, but eye candy's not bad either to have at a party. I mean, you don't want to have an absolute sausage fest at the Murph Memorial Day barbecue.
Okay, well said. Go ahead.
All right, Larry Boa is going to show up, and he's going to bring the fireworks. Now, I know it's not 4th of July barbecue, but and I don't understand people setting off fireworks on Friday night, Memorial Day weekend in the Philadelphia area. But you can't have Larry Boa there without having some fireworks.
Larry Boa is probably in my top 5 all-time favorite people. Not just players, but
am I ahead of him or behind him?
You know what? He's ahead of you because he was part of my childhood. And Larry Boa and his beautiful wife Patty, they are absolutely invited. And Larry will hold court and talk baseball with anybody who's at the party, and it'll be the best 15 minutes that you spend there. So yes, Larry Boa for sure. These two have been pretty easy so far.
I told you, layups. Okay. Now we're getting into the crux here. Okay.
All right.
Syringe
No,
filled. No. We had him at the we had him at your fundraiser. I think we had enough. Syringe filled Jell-O shots, courtesy of Barry Bonds.
No. So Barry Bonds is one of the people who I don't like people who treat other people like they're less than they are. And Barry Bonds, at least my personal experience, that's exactly the way he treated me early in my broadcasting career. At a day at the Vet when I approached him to ask him a question. Barry Bonds can go pound sand, not invited to the party.
Hot dogs being brought to the barbecue by Ronald Acuna Jr. and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Interesting. Okay, so my answer to that is those guys can come. I had Jeff Francoeur, who does television for the Braves.
Love Frenchie.
Frenchie's one of the best people ever. And I had him on the show yesterday. We were talking about Ronald Acuna Jr. And I asked him, I said, look, I'm watching from afar. He's obviously having a terrific season, an MVP caliber season. I said, but it seems to me like maybe he's matured a little bit too. Like he's grown up a little bit, a lot less antics, a lot less of the stuff that we've seen in the first couple of years. And he said, Murph, you are absolutely correct. He said, I don't know this to be true, but I believe playing at the World Baseball Classic for Team Venezuela and being around other veteran guys from his own home country, he saw maybe a little bit of what he was doing and decided, I'm going to change my act a little bit and I'm going to mature a little bit. He's only 25 years old, I think, right? But so he's kind of been a different player. He's an awesome player. I mean, if you love baseball, you can't argue. Ronald Acuna Jr. fun to watch. So
he actually backed up Michael Harris Jr. This past week on Castellanos triple. Now, if he would have did that, JT might not have had the inside park home run back in the playoffs.
And again, so that's what we're talking about, right? I mean, guys mature over the course of their careers if they want to be great and they want to be better. And I think Acuna does want to be all those things. So Fernando Tatis Jr., I don't know him. I've never really got a chance to talk to him. Obviously, in the same vein, not thrilled with his act most of the time. And he certainly has put his team in a bad spot over the last 2 years. But I'm going to let him come. Maybe he can sit with Larry Boa for a little bit and learn a little bit about how to conduct themselves as big leaguers, because Boa can show them.
Okay. All right. We got a few minutes left in this segment, so let's get through the rest of this list here. Okay. Marcell Ozuna brought the beer, but it never got there because he decided to pimp getting it there. To be fair, he actually forgot to call an Uber. Not exactly the first time he's forgotten to do that.
All right. I'm not going too far down that route, but no, I think Marcell can stay home.
He can stay home. Yeah. I agree with you. Ryan Braun said he ordered pizzas, which showed up 3 hours after he said he made the call because he forgot to call in the first place. He still blamed the delivery driver, though.
Well, of course he did. We're getting kind of crowded at the old homestead, so I don't need Ryan Braun at the party either. It's fine.
Yeah, no thanks. Bob Melvin was getting by to see he was coming by to be the DJ. He was playing all kinds of great music, but didn't put on the obvious songs when the crowd was craving the hits. He sat idly while the party went south. Sounds familiar?
I don't really have a strong opinion on Bob Melvin either way. Look, if he shows up, that's fine. He can come in and hang out for a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Astros manager Dusty Baker is stopping over and bringing the hors d'oeuvres. Do you trust the toothpicks that he's using to give them out with?
Dusty Baker is one of the great men in baseball. And yes, I trust the toothpicks. I don't think he's going to serve me an hors d'oeuvre on a dirty toothpick. I love Dusty Baker. Love him. And I respect the hell out of him. Absolutely. Dusty is at the party.
Lenny Dykstra is bringing chips and dip. Dips could have double meaning when it comes to the dude.
Yeah. Oh, I would imagine. Yeah, we all get a pinch. Yeah, I promised the local authorities that we would keep things on the up and up. So maybe I don't send that invite to Lenny this year.
I got two more. Okay. I got two more for you. Max Scherzer decided to come over and brought hamburgers and buns. He only lasted a couple innings into the pickup wiffle ball game as he got ejected for using illegal sticky substances after striking out your cousin.
Yeah. Yeah, my cousin's not very good. I can't have Max Scherzer at my barbecue. I respect the heck out of what Max Scherzer's done in his career. He's one of the great players of our generation. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that surrounds him. And besides, he's Max Scherzer. And at this point, he's the enemy. So, no, he can't come.
And last but certainly not least, Oakland A's owner John Fisher showed up and surprisingly didn't bring anything at all. He spent the whole time trying to sabotage your party so he can move it elsewhere.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The home that they're going to move to, it looks pretty nice. My party might want to go there, but we don't need him at the old party either. We're headed out to Oakland on our next road trip, I think.
Indeed.
Get a chance to see their current digs, which are
you're going to try and catch the possum.
No, I'm going to try to stay away from the possum as much as possible, to be honest.
Speaking of that new stadium in Las Vegas, it has plenty of windows. And if you're going to have windows, you might as well call our friends at Premier Window Cleaning, the leading window cleaning company in Philadelphia and the surrounding areas. Family owned and operated with 30 years experience. They offer commercial and residential window cleaning, pressure washing, parking garage cleaning, graffiti removal, post-construction cleaning. Every employee is trained, certified, and goes through an extensive background check. At Premier Window Cleaning, your satisfaction level needs to be 100%, as no job is complete until you're happy. With clients like Chop Roberts to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, you cannot go wrong. For more information and a full list of their services, give them a call at 267-534-5198. That's 267-534-5198. Or go to their website, WeHateDirtyWindows.com. That's WeHateDirtyWindows.com. And our final segment, we're going to get to our picks for this Sunday's action on Memorial Day weekend. Did Murph make up some ground on the sack attack this past week? We'll find out on the other side on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. Bud Light Baseball Brunch brought to you by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club. We'll be right back after this.
Clear.
Woo!
Sorry about the beginning there, Murph.
What's that?
Said sorry about the beginning of the segment there. I had a little bit of a brain.
All good. All good.
I was like, his lips are moving, but no, nothing's coming out. Yeah, Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Damn, this is a good arm.
I can't hear the words. What about you? What about you, Sideburns? You I'd rather have a beer. All right, Slashy, you got a list for me, bud?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's kind of like Sarah McLachlan song.
Yeah.
Quick and easy approvals, massive inventory, and unbelievable deals. The staff makes getting in a new car fast and fun. There's something for everyone. For the best buying experience.
How long of a break do we have?
Shop at one of our 4 locations.
So 3 minutes.
We have 3 more minutes.
Yeah, it's a little longer.
Okay. Just snacking on over there.
An orange. It was delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jacob loves apples.
I
Eat
don't
apples for
like
days.
apples. I mean, I don't dislike apples, but they're not my thing. Oranges and bananas are my go-to fruit. So whenever we get to a hotel, they normally have a little spread that you can pick from. And where were we? We were just in California, and the oranges there were terrible.
Really?
And out here in Atlanta, and I've eaten one every day. They're absolutely delicious.
Well, it's probably because you're close to Florida. I mean, isn't that more of a...
Yeah. The ones in California were like this big, but they were not very good. But these are good. So,
yeah. Everybody wants to be cool. Everybody wants to be happy.
How many? Can you believe it's just 2, right?
2. Yep. I think I got my 2 covered.
Yeah, I got a couple.
1:30.
Minute and a half. Yeah, and I've kind of been taking advantage of that.
Right, 1 minute.
Millions are making the switch to Newsmax.
Bing, bing,
After
bing,
Tucker
bing,
Carlson's
bing,
firing,
bing,
the
bing,
Eric
bing.
Bowling Show went up over 200% in the ratings. Tonight, watch Newsmax's powerful lineup of Greta Van Susteren, Rob Schmidt, Eric Bowling, and Chris Platt. At 8 p.m. Eastern, Eric Bowling reveals the big fight between DeSantis and Trump. Newsmax is now America's fastest growing
30.
cable news channel.
30.
Download the free Newsmax
30,
app on your
30.
smartphone. Start watching anytime. Make the switch today to Newsmax.
Kickstart your imagination with Audible. Hear celebrity and music memoirs, mysteries, true crime, and more. Audible is the
All right.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Stay by.
Audible.com.
Race on the drive home. The line change with John Jansen and Knock. This is The Gambler.
Welcome back. Final segment here on this Memorial Day weekend edition of Bud Light Baseball Brunch, brought to you by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club. You know, Murph is a definite parrot head when this jam starts going and his head pops right up and he goes, "Oh my goodness gracious, it's time to go."
Okay. Oh, wait, is it summer? Did I hear Jimmy? Yeah. Hey, get well, Jimmy. He was in the hospital last week.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I think he's out at this point. He had to cancel one of his concerts, but I think he's doing okay now. But Jimmy Buffett, he's the man.
Need to be wasting away in Margaritaville, and if you're going to be wasting away in Margaritaville, you need a good cigar, if you ask me. That's why you go to EJ Mobile Cigar Lounge. They can be found on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at EJ Mobile Cigar Lounge. Their website is www.ejmobilecigarlounge.com. They will come to you for any occasion or event. They are the premier luxury mobile cigar and hookah lounge in the Philadelphia area. Call or text EJ today at 215-806-3999. That's 215-806-3999. All right, Murph, let's go ahead. Let's give away these 2 tickets for Phillies Tigers on Tuesday, June 6th at 6:40 p.m. Your favorite action movie, give me your top 5, and I'll give you the list of what we have for contestants.
All right. Which one did I give you already? Ocean's 11, right?
Ocean's 11, yes, sir.
Ocean's 11 was on my list, and I think a lot of people would agree with the next 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the ones that pop up from our listeners. But Die Hard has to be on the list. What a great movie. It's one of those ones you
It
can't
might
stop.
be. It might be on the
Yeah.
list.
Yeah. I think I would imagine it is. Raiders of the Lost Ark for me. That was one of the first movies that, as a youngster, I remember watching and thinking, hey, this is pretty gory and all that, but it was awesome. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, it's such a powerful film. I think it's a little different than the rest of them. But on this Memorial Day weekend, we should certainly remember those folks and all of those folks that have given the ultimate sacrifice. And that movie really portrayed just the horrors of war. But again, I think it's important to kind of see that from time to time, put everything in perspective. And then finally, it's just a movie I just love, and it would fall into this category. So The Italian Job. Great movie, and again, kind of has an Ocean's 11 kind of feel to it, but a little bit more action in that one, a lot of car chases and that kind of thing. So Italian Job, I'm putting that one on there.
The Italian Job. Okay. All right. So let's go to the panel here, our contestants for this week. Old Boy. I'm not familiar with that either.
Nope.
All right. Die Hard.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, good one.
John Wick 4.
Didn't see it.
I haven't seen any of the Wicks. I've heard it's fantastic, and
Yeah,
I
I've
love
heard they're
Keanu
good too.
Reeves.
Yeah.
But Aliens.
Mm,
And I know you're not a a guy here for comic stuff, but Dark Knight,
yeah, nope.
Batman.
Yeah, I know who the Dark Knight.
So I know who you're going with here. I know you're
Yeah,
going to go with Die
for
Hard.
me, this is easy. Yeah.
All right, so you're going Die Hard. I will go Dark Knight
Okay.
because I am a Batman aficionado.
Okay.
So that means Slash, we go to you for the tiebreaker.
I got to clarify here. I am not a comic guy either, but Dark Knight was just an incredible movie. So I got to roll with
Wow.
Dark Knight. Even though I'm not a superhero, Marvel, DC guy, Dark Knight was an exception for me.
So you're saying Dark Knight is a better movie than Die Hard?
Yes, I
Wow.
am.
Okay.
Heath Ledger was that's one of the best
Yeah,
acting
that's what
performances I've
everyone
seen.
says. All right. Hey,
So,
I can't
give me
argue
Dark
with that. All right. Dark Knight it is.
Dark Knight it is. Congratulations, John. Opt for the Crucker, who kind of looks like John Crook. I'll get a hold of you and I'll get the tickets over to you for June 6th. All right, Murph, let's get to our picks for today's action. You're going to have a little bit of time on your hands to be able to follow the out of town scoreboard, and you deserve it after last week's performance. I know I've been on you a little bit here in the early going, but I only do it because it's out of love and I want to motivate you to be better. And you have. I mean, last week with a 3-0 performance, you're now 9-6 on the season. You've upped yourself to 12 points. I, on the other hand, went 2-1, but I hit my underdog as well as my favorite. I did not get the over/under, so I had a 3-point week. I am now 11-4 in the early going with 15 points. Murph, give me your first pick for today's action.
All right. I'm only 2 games back. I like it. All right. First one for me will be the favorites. Not a big favorite. Tampa Bay Rays, best record in baseball, taking on the Dodgers, one of the other best teams in baseball. Down in Florida, the Rays are -120. Rays are 25-6 at home, and they've split the first 2 games of this series with the Dodgers. It's getaway day for LA. I think the pitching matchup kind of favors Tampa as well. I'm taking Tampa. -120 is my favorite.
It's very rare that me and you go head to head on these picks because we only really just go back and forth. Like, we make our picks. For people that don't know, we make our picks, and then just so sometimes we have enough time to where we can actually compare them ahead of the show. Sometimes we wind up having the same pick for something, and we
don't want that.
We don't want that. Yeah, we want to have the ability to where we can either make or lose ground every single week. But the funny thing is I'm going for my underdog this week. I'll stick on the same game. I'm taking the Dodgers at +110 at Tampa. Gavin Stone versus Josh Fleming. I'm going to take the Dodgers to win the series. It's very rare that you get the Dodgers at plus money. This was kind of like last week when I took the Orioles at the Blue Jays. It just felt like it was. Sometimes you got to take advantage of these teams when they are at plus money because you never get them that way. I'm going to take the Dodgers this week to take that series. So you got the Rays, I got the Dodgers in that matchup. Give me your next one.
All right, I'm going with my over/under. Cubs and Reds are at Wrigley. Graham Ashcroft, Drew Smiley. Smiley's been pretty good this year, but this is one of those ones that.
You mean Cliff Lee?
Yes. The over/under is 7.5 on a really nice day in Chicago against 2, I would call, average pitchers. So that, and I asked you before the show if you were a guy that lets the line talk to you and tell you something. This is begging you to take the over, right? So a lot of savvy gamblers would take the under on this. I am not a savvy gambler. I'm not a gambler at all. So I'm going to take the over because it just seems so easy. So I'm going over 7.5 Cubs and Reds.
You're not a gambler at all because you found out you sucked at it.
You're exactly right. I have better things to do with my money because I'm terrible at that. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going to take my favorite this week is going to be the Baltimore Orioles to avoid the sweep at home versus the Texas Rangers. Texas is playing great baseball right now. They've won 4 in a row. The Orioles have lost 2 in a row. I think the Orioles are too good of a team. And if the Rangers are really that good of a team, and they are that good of a team.
Great offense.
But yes, exactly. But like to me, the Orioles are at -155. And I know they've lost the first 2 games of the series. It's kind of like we were talking about with that line talking to you. This line looks to be a little bit too big. I think on the underdog side of the Rangers, it might be too juicy, and people are going to take the Rangers at underdog money. I'm taking the Orioles to avoid the sweep today at Camden Yards. And give me your last pick there, Murph.
All right. I got Blue Jays and Twins. They're out in Minnesota. Jose Barrios and Bailey Ober. Series is at 1 game apiece. Home dog in a rubber match at +20. I needed an underdog, so I'll give it to the home team. And I think Minnesota wins the series, wins this game at home at +120.
All right. And then the over-under for Reds Cubs. What was the number on that?
7.5.
7.5. So you're going over 7.5.
Over 7.5.
Over 7. Okay. That way I don't have to go back and listen to myself to get your picks to where I'm updating the standings. I've been writing them down this season, so it makes me feel better about myself. I'm also going over 7.5, but I'm going over 7.5 for Padres Yankees. Now, listen, the pitching matchup is fantastic. Darvish, Garrett Cole, great matchup. The reason why I'm doing this is because this series has played in the under all weekend long with 2 teams that notoriously hit the ball. 6 runs total on Friday night, 5 runs total on Saturday night. Something has to give. There has to be some sort of runs that are scored in this series between 2 offenses that like to hit the ball with the Padres and the Yankees. I am taking over 7.5. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? 2 things we found interesting from this past week in Major League Baseball. Murph, give me your first.
All right, I've got 2 that both tie into the Phillies. Since his debut in 2018, Ronald Acuna Jr., we talked about, is just one of 3 players in Major League Baseball with over 100 home runs and over 100 stolen bases. The only other 2 in Major League Baseball, Trey Turner and Jose Ramirez. Acuna accomplished the feat in 135 fewer games than the other 2. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's pretty good when he has his head on straight.
Yeah.
My first one this week, the Rays became the first team to hit 100 home runs this season in Major League Baseball. They hit their 100th home run last season on August 12th.
Wow. How about that? All right, that's a good one. All right, this one's courtesy of Paul Casella from from MLB.com, and it's about Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott, just the second player in Phillies history with 2 hits, 2 walks, and 3 stolen bases or more in one game. The other was Jimmy Rollins on July 11th, 2009. So only Jimmy Rollins and Bryson Stott have ever done it, and he's the first player in Major League history, or he's the most recent player in Major League history to do it. Jose Ramirez did it back in 2021.
Awesome. So the Cincinnati Reds, okay, the highest paid players on their team for the 2023 Major League Baseball season. So you can obviously name number 1 on the team because he's just been there for so long, right? Joey Votto, okay, making $25 million this year. A guy that isn't on the team. Actually, is he on the team? He was on the team. Okay, so Mike Moustakas, $22 million. Okay, they're paying him this year. That's number 2. Number 3, Will Myers. They're paying him $6 million. The 4th highest paid, the 4th highest paid player on their team for this season hasn't played for them since 2008. And that would be none other than Ken Griffey Jr., making a whopping $3.6 million a season. And Murph, I know we normally stick to 2, but this I know you didn't let him in the Memorial Day barbecue, okay? But it's incredible. The career comparison through 1,161 career games between Mookie Betts and Barry Bonds. Okay. Batting average, Betts 291, Bonds 283. 224 home runs for Betts, 219 for Bonds. RBI 679 for Betts, 667 for Bonds. 520 slugging percentage for Betts, 525 for Bonds. 888 OPS to a 916 for Bonds. Wow. I would have never even thought that their stats were that comparison between that many career games. It's crazy.
That's very interesting. Send me that. I'd like to see that. But yeah, pretty cool. But then obviously we know what happened with Barry, and got a little help and just went nuts in terms of the power after that. I don't think we'll see that with Mookie, thank God. But yeah, Mookie's trending towards the Hall of Fame already. He's a great player.
No doubt about it. All right, Murph, the rest of this week for the Phillies, we have a shot to take 3 or 4 in Atlanta, and we have a shot to do it on Sunday Night Baseball this evening against Spencer Strider. We have the day off tomorrow, another holiday in which I'm not going to be able to watch Phillies baseball. Then we have 3 in Queens against the Mets, and then we head to D.C. to play, I'm going to say it's surprising watching a Nationals team who has played some they played some good baseball over the last few weeks, and the Phillies handled them pretty easily last year. The rest of this road trip, what do you see coming out of it?
Yeah, well, to your point, the Nationals have the 4th best record, I think, in all of baseball over the last 2.5, 3 weeks. They've been playing really well. That said, I would anticipate the Phillies would be able to get 2 or 3 down there in DC for sure. The key will be, take 2 or 3 from the Mets and see if you could steal 1 more from Atlanta. That would make for an outstanding first trek through the NL East. I'm confident that they take 4 out of 6 in New York and DC, and I'm hopeful they can get a win tonight.
Absolutely. Murph, safe travels from Atlanta to New York and then on to DC. Enjoy your day off on Memorial Day weekend. Well deserved.
Will do.
All right, for Greg Murphy down in Atlanta / running the board here in the Fox Sports The Gambler studios, I'm Chris Sack of Green Legion Radio, and like a 3-1 pitch to Ryan Howard, we are out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and please be safe. And thank you to all of you that have served and given us the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Let's go Phillies.
All right, well done.
Sweet deal.
Thanks, Murph.
Thanks, brother.
Slash. Thanks, Zach.
No problem, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, man. Have fun. What are you gonna wind up doing in New York?
So Krista's coming up, so we're gonna do some touristy things, and then we have a restaurant up there that we love, so we're gonna hit that. It's on the Upper East Side, up Thai. It's a Thai restaurant. It's awesome.
Now you've been going to New York multiple times for the last, however many years being with the Phillies and the broadcast. Like, do you do the same touristy things over and over again, or do you like?
No, I don't generally do touristy things if I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So what I do is I go and see shows because I'm a huge fan of Broadway. I'm a huge fan of off-Broadway plays, and unfortunately, Mondays Broadway's dark, so you can't. There are no shows to go